A mother walks into Judge Judy's courtroom with a stack of papers and a story she has rehearsed. She thinks this is the day she finally win a long battle over a house she never even owned. For almost a year, she lived there without paying a single dime. What she doesn't know is that Judge Judy can spot a lie faster than anyone, and this hearing is about to expose everything she tried to hide. This is the case of Meadows versus Gustafson, a powerful reminder that in a courtroom, manipulation and strategy eventually collapse under the weight of truth and filing a false restraining order that has consequences you can't just charm your way out of. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from, because stories like this resonate everywhere. People are tired of seeing the legal system abused for personal gain. It's a Tuesday morning, 11:15 a.m. The courtroom is already tense. Judge Judy is reviewing the case file when she notices a young man sitting next to the plaintiff. Ms. Meadows, who is this young man? She asks. That's my son, Gavin. He's 17. Judge Judy doesn't even look up from her paperwork. This might not get pretty. You may want him outside. The bailiff gently escorts Gavin out of the courtroom. Everyone feels the shift in the air. Judge Judy has already sensed something is wrong here, and she's preparing to peel back the layers, one by one. The case centers on a living arrangement that devolved into a legal war. Mizzy Meadows and Mr. Gustafson had lived together as a couple. There was no marriage, no contract, just a relationship and a home. But the details are what matter. The home was purchased in his name, with his money, and it was his financial responsibility. In his name alone. The mortgage, his obligation, completely. Judge Judy asks about the down payment. $1 Meadows answers. Gustafson confirms it. Just 2 months after they moved into the home, Meadows filed a restraining order. There were no medical records, no hospital visits, no documented physical injuries, but the order was granted, and it removed Mr. Gustafson from his own house. Judge Judy asks one simple, direct question. Is it true that in February 2016 you filed a restraining order that removed him from his home? Meadows tries to deflect, to redirect, to reframe the story. Judge Judy cuts her off sharply. Is it the truth, a mistake, or a lie? Meadows' voice drops. Yes, ma'am. It's true. The courtroom freezes, because now Judge Judy wants to see the actual allegations. What exactly justified forcing a man out of his own property for nearly a year? Meadows begins fumbling through her papers. She's flipping through pages, searching, stalling for time. Judge Judy watches her with razor-sharp precision, her patience wearing thin. Exactly what I expected, she says quietly, almost to herself. You either wouldn't have it, or it would be baloney. For 10 long months, while Mr. Gustafson was legally barred from entering his own home, he was the one paying the bills. He paid the $1,300 monthly mortgage. He paid the property taxes. He single-handedly kept the house from foreclosure. And Ms. Meadows, she and her son lived there, completely rent. Judge Judy's tone sharpens, becoming an instrument of pure accountability. You lived in his house for 10 months, without paying the mortgage or taxes, based on a restraining order you cannot produce. Do you understand how serious that is? Meadows tries to argue, claiming she made the first month's payment. Judge Judy cuts her off instantly, her voice like steel. You didn't pay the mortgage. You didn't pay the taxes. You lived there for free. The courtroom is silent. Meadows is visibly shaken. For the very first time, her confidence begins to crack. The carefully constructed facade is starting to crumble. While Gustafson was struggling to pay his lawyer, pay the mortgage on a house he couldn't live in, and fight to get his life back, Meadows admits she spent $2,000 on her own attorney. But that's nothing compared to Gustafson's financial drain. Judge Judy turns her gaze directly to Meadows. Her voice becomes low and controlled, a tone that signals judgment is near. You outlasted him. You knew he couldn't keep fighting. You knew he was paying for everything. You knew the restraining order kept him out of his own house, and you took advantage of it. Meadows tries to spin it as an opportunity. Well, I told him, let's make a deal. Judge Judy nods slowly, her eyes locked on Meadows. Yes. Let's discuss the deal you tried to make for his own house. This is where her entire story unravels. Meadows claims she wanted to buy the home from him for the same $206,000 purchase price, plus whatever money he had put in. Judge Judy leans forward, her eyes piercing. And you expected a bank to give you a mortgage on a $20,000 a year income? After 2008, they're lining up for that. The gallery gasps. Meadows is completely cornered. Cold, hard logic has just destroyed her entire narrative. Judge Judy then delivers the final, devastating summary that breaks the case wide open. You didn't make payments. You lived rent-free. You filed a restraining order without producing any evidence for it. You kept him out of his own home, and then, when he was financially exhausted, you tried to negotiate ownership of his property. This is the moment Meadows finally realizes she is not in control. This is the moment her strategy collapses. This is the moment Judge Judy shows everyone. She sees everything. In a powerful closing statement, Judge Judy's voice becomes firm and impossible to argue with. I take domestic violence allegations seriously. What I don't tolerate is someone weaponizing the system to gain an advantage. You lived in a house that wasn't yours. You didn't pay. You can't show me a legitimate basis for the restraining order. And you expect money for lost wages? Meadows stays silent, because there is absolutely nothing left to say. This case was never about love or property. It was about truth versus manipulation. In Judge Judy's courtroom, the law doesn't bend for clever strategies, sympathy plays, or fabricated leverage. She cuts through excuses with unmatched precision. Meadows believed she could control the narrative. She believed a piece of paper would give her a permanent advantage. She believed the truth would never catch up to her. But Judge Judy reminded everyone watching that the courtroom is the great equalizer. Evidence matters. Ownership is ownership, and the legal system is not a tool to manipulate someone out of their home. This case is a stark warning. When you try to weaponize the court system, you will eventually face a judge who refuses to be played. Subscribe for more cases where the truth rises, entitlement collapses, and justice lands exactly where it belongs. Thanks for watching.